Shalom, shalom. This is Shalom from the Great Millstone Atlanta camp. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rahakradash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. Peace, love, and safety to the hopeful elect. And the title of this lesson is, If the Wrath of the Lord does not scare you, I don't know what will. This has to be, first of all, the Lord is going to bring fire upon the world, mainly Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America. Okay, it's going to be completely destroyed from off the face of the earth via nuclear missiles, thermonuclear missiles. Okay, this is a really fearful and scary topic because no one wants to be burned alive. No one wants to be burned alive. Now, the Lord is going to it's going to be a special way that the Lord, you're not just going to burn. The Lord is going to, you're going to feel that fire. Like the Lord is going to just leave your spirit and your body to continue to burn. All right, you're going to feel every meltdown of your body parts, your skin, your flesh, your bones, everything being dissolved. You're going to feel it. All right, it's going to be great pain, terrible pain. And that's the wrath that's coming upon the wicked of our people and the wicked of the nations. Okay. Now, when you go into the wicked of the nations, you have the Israelites, which are mainly you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. You also have the Israelite foreigners that look like the other nations, that look Chinese, that look Japanese, that look like African, that look like Arabs, that look like white people, but they're actually Israelites. Then you have the wicked of our people, which 2/3 in America is gonna take part in this second death, the end of this world. Only 1/3 is gonna make it out of this place alive. 1/3 of our people in 144,000. That's not many. It's a lot, but it's when you look at the whole multitude, it's not many. Okay. And then the Edomites, which are the wicked out of all the nations. Now, if you just think, like if the Lord divided men into three parts, the righteous, the ones in the middle, they call them the children of men, the children of God, and then you have the children of the wicked. Who you think would be the children of the wicked? Who has done the most terrifying events, the most horrific acts to other nations? Okay. So now that we have an idea of who Esau Edom is, the so-called white man, and what's coming to him as far as destruction, I'm going to play this video because these other nations, you have other Edomite nations, Russia, and then, the EU and NATO. All these other Edomite nations are going to come up against America. Then you have Moab, the Chinese, Japanese. You're going to have Hamite nations, from Africa. You're going to have the Arabs, the Indians, Ishmael and Elam are going to come up against Esau Edom to destroy his whole world. but their world is going to get destroyed also in the process. But not like Esau, Edom. He's going to be made most desolate. And I'm going to cover all of everything that I'm saying. I'm going to back it up with scriptures. I don't even think I'm going to be able to get all of these scriptures, but I'm going to start. But I want to play this video just to show you how Moab, the so-called Chinese man, feels about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay.
Because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus 1 hydrogen bomb. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot. Mr. Abrams also challenged me, saying that China's military buildup is a challenge, a threat to our neighboring countries. I told him point blank, no country in China's neighborhood is a match against China in terms of military power. China's military buildup is a matchup against only one country, that is the United States. China will never allow the United States to launch a war against China, conventional or nuclear, without suffering devastating consequences. If you have not watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing on September the 3rd, one of the weapons China demonstrated, we call it 61 because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus 1 hydrogen bomb. Now, in the world of today, let me tell you, which country has hydrogen bomb? China is the only country with hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. I hope Washington has learned the lesson. If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious. China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot.
Okay. So just wanted to play that because people don't understand how powerful these nuclear bombs are. And they're not just a few thousand nuclear bombs on the planet like they say. They say Russia has like 5,000 or something like that. China has like 2,000. The United States has like 4,000. And no, there are millions of warheads. Now, they may be thousands and thousands upon thousands of missiles, but one missile can contain multiple warheads. As you see, they said that one missile has 60 warheads in one hydrogen bomb. That one bomb could take everything. It's not going to burn the whole land of America, but it could cripple this place to where it won't come back. It'll take years to bring this place back. Okay, let's get some scriptures. All right, I want to start out with this Isaiah 54 because just to clear this scripture up, people don't know what this means. Isaiah 54:17, it says, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment shall thou condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord Yahweh, and their righteousness is of me, said the Lord Yahweh." All right. So when you hear a lot of Christians say, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," they're not talking about, people talking, or trying to do things to you on your job, or, it's not talking about that. They say every time somebody, have something negative to say, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." That's not what it's talking about. When you go up and read, it says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. I have created the waster to destroy." And then it says, "No weapon formed against thee shall prosper, It's talking about the servants of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Who are the servants? The Lord's elect, the prophets, the 144,000 that's doing this work. Okay. And then you're going to have, like I said, the elect that's going to receive salvation. And in America is only going to be 1/3 of our people. Okay. But going back up to verse 16, that Smith, overall, the first Smith that created the destruction of the waster to destroy was Oppenheimer. So if you haven't seen that movie Oppenheimer or know who this guy is, he's the guy that created the first atomic bomb. He was able to put the science together to split atoms to create a large explosion that could kill many. And he called himself the destroyer of worlds. So that's what that's talking about. I have created the waster to destroy. Now, when it says no weapon formed against thee shall prosper, that's talking about the salvation that's going to come before these nuclear missiles actually hit this place. All right. The Lord is going to bring his chariots, what people call so-called UFOs, and they think little aliens are in them. That's why Esau is trying to put that fear in you that there are aliens in these ships. No, they're angels, and they're coming to save people. And I've seen one movie about that, and it was a lot of so-called, they look like Edomites being saved in this movie. People thought that they was coming to kill them because they was taking people away, but they was actually saving them from the nuclear destruction. I can't think of the name of the movie. It's some real cheap, low budget movie that was on. I think I saw it on Amazon, and Lord's willing, one day I can find it again and share it. But that's what that's talking about. The Lord said, hide in my chambers, roughly paraphrasing, hide in my chambers until the pretty much the destruction overpass. He's talking about his chariots. And then during that time, the elect is going to receive not only salvation, but new bodies to where you can't die. That's where you're going to have everlasting life. Everything is going to be made new after that. The earth is going to be purified and made new because it's going to be cleansed by fire. All right, so everything really makes sense. The wicked is going to be destroyed, which is the third part of man. The righteous is going to be in authority once everything is made new again. All right, let's continue, because the fear of nuclear destruction is really in everyone's heart. They just try not to show it. But if you actually, have some type of care or fear of the Lord, people think that they're supposed to be scared of these other countries. No, the Lord is in control of these other countries, these men. He's the one, his spirit is going to be in those missiles as they're hitting. We're going to get that as well, Lord's willing. But let's go to 2nd Ezra. And like I said, I got a lot of scriptures written down, but I'm going to skip over some. 15 and I'm just going to go straight to the point. Verse 40. It says, the great and mighty clouds shall be puffed up full of wrath, and the store that they make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place a horrible star, fire and hail and flying swords, and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. Okay, and the waters, of course, if you go into Revelations, it tells you that the waters are talking about people. So this is talking about different nations, different nationalities. The only place on the planet like that is America. Every nation is over here, including the Israelites. Verse 42, it says, and they shall break down the cities and walls and mountains and hills. Mountains and hills represent the governments. Okay. The governments and everywhere from your state all the way to the whole nation. It says mountains and hills, trees of the wood, the grass of the meadows, and their corn. Now, it actually could mean actual hills and mountains, because scriptures say the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Like a lot of these rocks and mountains are just going to be turned into ash. This place is going to be flattened. It's gonna be straight flattened. It says, and they shall go steadfast unto Babylon and make her afraid. Babylon being United States of America. Okay, verse 44 says, they shall come to her and besiege her. The star and all the wrath shall they pour out upon her. Then shall the dust and smoke go up unto the heaven, and all they that are about her shall bewail her. That's written in Revelations as well. Okay. So the smoke, when you look at how a nuclear bomb go off, I think the largest bomb that was tested was the Tesla bomb. And the smoke went up, I think they said over 40 miles into the sky. That's reaching into the heavens. Man, just to give you a kind of depiction of what it may look like. If you look on the right side of the screen, first of all, you see the 4 angels there. And then in the back, you see America. They looking out from the one of the chariots. They send America on fire. And then again, those might be part of the elect. But there are actually 4 angels holding back the destruction until the Lord says, okay, just let it go. And that's when World War III is going to jump off, fully going to jump off. It's already started. But that's going to be the start of nuclear war. Okay, I'm going to keep moving. Let's go to Joel. Joel chapter 2, and I'm going to read verse 2. It says, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There had not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them. Right. The land was like the Garden of Eden, pretty much before Esau came over and started building up all these cities and conquered the northern kingdom and brought over the southern kingdom and enslaved everyone. It was a beautiful land. As a matter of fact, when you go into, I believe it's First Kings, Solomon used to have men to come over to the Americas to get certain spices and certain things over here, certain animals. I know one thing that they said was they came over here to get peacocks. But if you look up that word peacock in the blue letter, it tells you about is basically another name for turkeys. So they had wild turkeys. They was coming over here getting turkeys. It's talking about America. So this place has always been, like they knew it was here. It just wasn't inhabited until the Northern Kingdom came over. That's another topic or another lesson for another day. But the Northern Kingdom came over and pretty much set up over here in the Americas, North America and South America. Verse 4 says, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. It's talking about the missiles coming out of the silos. They had these big vehicles that carry these missiles, and they will point them upward, and then it ignites and goes off and shoots off. It looks like a horse, with the neck. It looks like a horse. It says, before their faces the people shall be much pain. All faces shall be gathered blackness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the walls like men of war. They shall march every one on his way. They shall not break their ranks, right? Because the Lord is going to have his spirit in those missiles. He's going to be able to control them. The holy angels and the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai, and also the Son Yahweh Shai, they're going to be in control of where these missiles hit. Going back to Isaiah 54, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. Like the Lord is gonna, he's gonna have everything set up where the elect is gonna get saved, but the wicked is gonna get burned up. Okay, let's go to 2 Peter, because it talks about the element shall melt with fervent heat. This is 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Now, all through the books of the Bible, it talks about the fire, the heat, the flying swords, the horrible clouds, the puffed up clouds full of wrath. It's describing nuclear destruction. That's the second death. And a lake of fire is going to look like that right there, United States, all orange. I used to have a great fear of nuclear destruction. And just to kind of, put some personal stuff out there about myself, ever since I was younger, I used to like to gaze into the sun and especially when the sun was setting. And I used to just, sometimes I close my eyes and daydream and just thinking about nuclear destruction, or just looking at, just looking into the sunset. And I became, I really liked the color of orange because of that, because of looking into the sunsets back when I was younger. I just, color just does something to me. But a lot of times when I used to just daydream, it was mostly days I was stressed out. I used to think about the world ending. And this was probably, just to tell you how much I thought about this was like maybe probably 3 times a week, maybe twice a week. Like, it was really, the Lord really put it on my spirit to fear nuclear destruction. And, years and years and years later, I found out the truth that I can actually be saved out of this destruction, that's to come. And also learning that the Lord is in control of it. It's not these other men. The Lord is controlling them. Russia, China, North Korea. But yeah, I always had a fear of nuclear destruction, and I used to just picture it, like I said, looking into the sunset. But now we seeing that these things are about to happen. So what as a matter of fact, that just goes into the next verse. Verse 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So just that thought alone, fearing the Lord because of the wrath that's coming, it should make you want to get right. But no, it's going to be a lot of people that's going to take part in the second death. Looking and hastening until the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. All right. Elements shall melt with fervent heat. every tree, every plant, grass, every single building, concrete building, metal structures, mountains, hills, all of it, everything is going to be completely gone in 1 hour. You're not going to have time to fly to this place. By the time you get to your plane, that's just going to bring you closer to a missile that's on the way. By the time you finally, if you make it to your bunker, if your bunker is over here, United States, it's just going to turn that thing into a microwave oven. You're just going to melt down inside of your bunker. That's how intense the heat is going to be. Malachi chapter 4 and verse 1. For behold, they cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. We really need to start looking at this place like nothing matters. Nothing matters. We still have our hobbies, some brothers like agriculture, planting and having gardens and, building things, carpenters, brothers build houses, brothers build cars. I know one of my main things is automotive. I love vehicles. I don't love them to the point where I want to keep one. No, all of this stuff has to go. Everything has to go. Everything has to be burnt up. So we're not going to put as much love into these things because it's all going to disappear. All right, let's get some scriptures in Revelations. And I'm going to try and go through this fast. Revelations. Let me see. Okay. So this is talking about the judgment of Babylon the Great. It says, verse 6, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, and the cup which she had filled to her double. Now just think about everything that United States has done, especially to the Israelites. And that's still going on for the past 350 years, almost 400 years in this place. And then this is Rome all over again. Look what Rome did when we was in Jerusalem. Like, this judgment goes way back. Even when we was being carried away to Babylon, you had still had Edomites cheering the Babylonians on. This was ancient Babylon. Like, it goes, this judgment really goes all the way back to Cain and Abel. But mostly Jacob and Esau. Jacob being the Israelites, and Esau being the so-called white man. It says, verse 7, how much she had to glorify herself and live deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judges her. The Lord is not playing when it comes to, first of all, his elect. Now, you think that he did something bad, something terrible to us? He did. We went off. We didn't keep the commandments that he commanded us to keep. We went and served of the gods. And this was all power. He said, you are the chosen people out of all families. And we didn't hold up on our end. We went off. So what did he do? He punished us. But the great thing is, he's not just going to punish us, but the ones that he used to punish us that went way too far, they're going to have to pay for what they did and what they're still doing. Like, our punishment is really over. Now all he has to do is get rid of the wicked of our people and just bring them back in a different body through reincarnation. And it's going to happen in the kingdom. So they're going to get burned up on this side. Most of our people. It says, verse 9, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Like I was talking about how high that smoke is going to go up in the air. You're going to be able to see it from overseas. Folks really don't. You gotta understand how to see a destruction of a company of a country on the other side of the planet. That's how much fire and smoke is going to be in this place. Verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come. Right. It's going to happen quick. You seen the video I played at the beginning. The guy said, he said that bomb can reach anywhere on the planet in 20 minutes. Carrying 60 warheads and 1 hydrogen bomb. Now that's China. Russia is not about to display the power that they have. It's going to be a surprise. And the Lord is putting in Putin's heart to do these things. As a matter of fact, that's a scripture in Ezekiel 38. He said he shall put an evil thing in his heart, roughly paraphrasing, that he's going to pretty much take down the unwalled villages. Now that's talking about 2 different places. The land of Israel, where the Israelis are, and America. But the land of Israel is not going to take that much destruction. But Babylon, it's far away from these other countries over here. So they're going to just let the whole arsenal just go. Even NATO. As a matter of fact, let's get that. Let's go back to Revelation 17 and verse 16. It says, and the 10 horns, which is NATO, which saw us upon the beast, which is the EU. I think I said it backwards. The 10 horns is the EU, and the 7 heads are the beast is NATO. It says, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked and eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Yeah, they're going to come over here and destroy the people over here. It's going to eat the flesh. It says make her naked. It's going to expose this place and then burn her with fire. That's going to be the nuclear missiles. Just think France, Britain, different places in Europe, different places in Africa, Iran, places in the Middle East, Russia, China, North Korea, Japan. They're going to let that whole arsenal go on this place. It's going to be overkill times 100, times 1,000,000. But that's the judgment of Yahweh Shema Shah. He said, you shall know that I'm the Lord that made you desolate. Like, just think a place, the destruction hitting so bad, it can never, ever come back again. Ever. Let's go in Revelations to Revelations 21 and in verse 8 it says, "But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." This is the first death was the flood that destroyed everyone on the planet when it rained. But this is the second death. It's going to be done by nuclear fire, nuclear destruction. And like I said, other places are going to get hit. Like these nations are going to get torn down. And you can already see America has joined forces with the Israelis, and pretty much the whole world, all these other nations are against them. So we can see this thing playing out. But it's been said by the prophets for years and years, decades and decades. And now that actually, they just joined forces, what last week, 2 weeks ago? Really started with the beginning of this Iranian war, but they actually put it on paper. Hey, we're one army now. All right. Let's go back to Revelations. We're gonna go back a little bit. Revelations chapter 9, and this is basically talking about World War I. Let me read verse 12. It says, "The one war is past, and behold, there come two woes more after." It's talking about World War I, World War II, and World War III. It ain't gonna be a World War IV. Okay, let's go down to verse 15. It says, "And the four angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year to slay the third part of men." So they've been putting this together for some time. The Lord said he declared the end from the beginning. So these angels have been preparing for this very moment since the beginning. It says, "And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. Now, if you add it up, that's about 200 million. That's talking about nuclear missiles. That's not talking about actual angels. Now, there are thousands of angels, millions of angels, but this is actually talking about, as a matter of fact, let's read. Verse 17, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplate of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions." And it's just talking about power. And it says, "And out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone." Now, if you go to Joel, and it talks about how before them a fire devoureth, and behind them a flame burneth. That was basically describing how the missiles look. In the front, you got the warheads, or the atomic bombs, or the nuclear fusion part and the fission part. The Bishop of Tazawam broke that down at camp last night beautifully, and also did a class on it. How pretty much Oppenheimer came up with how to split these atoms and create this large explosion. It says, "For the power is in their mouth." Same thing Joel said. "And in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, they had heads, and with them they do hurt." Right. With them they do hurt. Those heads are going to turn America into a giant fireball that's going to burn for a long, long, long time. Now, when the Lord said, "Hide in my chamber until the end of the nation be overpassed," roughly paraphrasing, we don't know how long we're going to be up there. It's going to be long enough for the earth to be purified and made new again. Like the Lord is not going to bring us back down while America's still burning. We don't know, but it's going to be quick because it says, when you go into the time of the heavens, the time of the heavens is different from the time of earth. When you're in the heavens and when the Lord bring that salvation, the time is going to go by faster on earth. It's going to be sped up. Verse 20 says, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Yeah, because these other nations, they just put their power in and they worship, a bunch of nonsense. And so do our people. But now we know that we have a real power whose name is Yahweh. His son name is Yahweh Shah. He's the true power. Everything else is nonsense that's being worshiped. Okay, I got a couple of closing scriptures. I'm gonna end this in a second, but I want to get this Ezekiel 35, and I'm gonna read 7, 8, and 9. It says, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. All right, so his government is going to be killed. It's going to be full of dead bodies in thy hills and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations. That's why I said I wasn't just speaking out of my head when I said this place is never going to come back. The scripture said right here, I will make thee perpetual desolation. Like it's going to be destroyed forever, and thy cities will not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. All right. Man, hey, if this don't put fear in you, this right here, first of all, should make you grateful to be an Israelite and understanding the truth and fearing the Lord. Like we have a chance to escape this, and it's gonna come quick. Oh man. Let me get one more scripture. Isaiah 24 and 19. Isaiah 24:19 says, the earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. Now this is going to clean this place up. And we was at camp a few weeks ago, and I just went on Google and looked up how does fire cleanse. And man, if it didn't just describe nuclear missiles hitting this place and purifying it from all Esau's wickedness, I don't know what else it could have explained. But it says the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. If the Lord said it's going to be heavy, the Lord said it was going to be heavy. Like the things that have been going on the planet since the beginning has been light work compared to what the Lord is about to bring. Verse 21, and it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord Yahweh, that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. So this is all being done to punish the elect of this world, the elites of this world, for the salvation of the elect of Israel. So like I said, if this doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. People really need to fear the Lord for the things that's about to happen. It's going to be too late. They're going to start fearing the Lord in the end. That's why at the end of the scripture, he say, you shall know that I am the Lord. Right now, the hopeful elect, we know that the Lord is going to bring it. But these other nations, they're not going to know until it actually happen. Not only are these other nations, but the wicked of our people. They're not going to see it. They're not going to understand until it actually happened. Oh man, the Lord is judging me. Or the Lord did this. Because the elect is going to get delivered in the sight of the enemies and in the sight of the wicked. All right, so I'm going to end it there, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Hakudash. Also double honors to my elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us his truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect.